Here I'm going to talk to you guys about writing your college essay. So first of all, some of you might not know who I am. So my name is Ms. Post. I graduated from TCU in May of 2019 with my bachelor's in News and Media Studies, minor in English and Child Development. I'm originally from Colleyville, Texas, which is like 30 minutes from Arlington. I love the Dallas Stars. I love hockey. And another fun fact is I have 3 super sweet little nephews. So if y'all aren't on the Go Center Remind and you want to be, all you need to do is text 81010 and then you'll find the first letter of your last name and you'll send that code to that text. Also, if you hear thunder, I apologize. It is currently storming as I'm recording this, so sorry. So how can you reach me? You can always DM me through any of the social media accounts. I'm not the best at responding at that just because I'm not on social media all day. Email is probably the best way to get in touch with me, and that's my email right there. If you're on the Remind, you can always text me through the Remind app. I also have a Google phone number if you want to call. You can call that number. I will say though, leave a voicemail because my phone does this really fun thing where it doesn't notify me when I get phone calls. So I have to go based off of my voicemails of who called me. And then obviously I have open office hours and you can always schedule one-on-one. But let's hop right into writing your college essay. So the most basic essay is going to consist of 5 paragraphs. You're going to have your intro, your 3 body paragraphs, and your conclusion. So your thesis is going to be in that introduction paragraph of your essay, and this is basically the heart of your essay. You want people to be able to read your thesis and know exactly what your essay is going to be about and where the story you're going to essentially tell. So in a 5 paragraph essay, you need to have at least 3 points that are going to tie into each of your 3 body paragraphs. And with your intro, you definitely want to start off strong with either a hook or an attention grabber and then build up to your thesis. You really want to grab the attention of the admission counselor who's reading this because they read so many essays a day. You want to do anything and everything to kind of make your essay stand out a little bit. So for example, I had a student last year who wrote, I think the essay prompt was, what is something that you're passionate about that nobody else is? And she felt very strongly about ice. And so she wrote her entire essay on different kinds of ice, her preference of ice. And it was such a fascinating essay to read. And she ended up getting it in everywhere she applied. So take some notes. It can be kind of quirky like that. So then your first body paragraph is where you're going to take that first point from your thesis and you're going to elaborate it. Make sure to add relevant details and explain certain terms that some people might not be familiar with, but make sure that you're staying on topic and you're not kind of going too deep into it. This isn't a short essay, probably shouldn't be longer than 2 pages. I wouldn't even say don't make it 2 pages. I would stick with about a page and a half for your essay. So your second body paragraph, it's the same thing you're going to do with your first one, but just with your second point from your thesis. And then once again with your third paragraph, your third body paragraph. And then your conclusion. So just like with your introduction, you want your conclusion to leave an impact on the person reading it. You don't necessarily want to repeat verbatim what you've said before. You kind of want your story to come full circle. Talk about how you grew through your experience or how you've moved forward from it, stuff like that. Bring your thesis back, but don't say it word for word. Give it like a new spin. Use some new verbiage with it. So then some tips when you're writing your essay, 1,000% always proofread your work. Don't rely just on spell check. Something that really helps me when I'm writing an essay is reading it out loud, to somebody else, and I will say something and I'll look back and be like, oh gosh, that made 0 sense, and then I have to go back and rewrite that one sentence. And then always have at least 2 other people read over your essay. They can pick up on mistakes that you might have missed. They can sometimes point out things that you might have left out that might add parts to your story that you forgot about or that might bring some clarification. And some people who can read your essay would be someone like your English teacher, maybe a parent or an aunt or someone who really knows writing. I'll read your essay, for example. I mean, I'm minored in English, so I know a decent amount, and I love reading essays. Make sure you stay on topic. It's very easy when you're telling a story, especially when it's personal and you have a lot of feelings behind it, that you want to include every single detail. Don't do that because A, you don't want your essay to be super long, and then B, you just need to include what's necessary to kind of get your point across. Definitely don't wait till the last minute. The admissions counselors can tell when you do. So please make sure you give it like an appropriate thought and give time ahead. So I would start maybe brainstorming your ideas and maybe outlining your college essays if you haven't already done so. So these essays are also one of the things that can make or break your application. It's a way for admissions counselors to kind of hear you. It's really the only way they get to hear you because everyone's application essentially looks the same. The only way that you get to show them kind of who you are and for them to hear your voice is through this essay, which brings me to my last point. This is a chance for admissions counselors to know you. So you need to be authentic, be yourself in your writing. Writing a college essay is different than writing an academic essay. This is a chance where you can, it doesn't have to be so structured. It doesn't have to be, the word I'm looking for is like academic. I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. This can allow your voice to come out. You can tell jokes in these essays, like just be yourself, be authentic. But with that being said, like also like use proper grammar and, all that good stuff. Follow the basic structure, but also know that some people write their essays a little bit different. And I will be hosting an essay workshop later this month, so be on the lookout for that. But yeah, be yourself when you write your essay. So this is the ApplyTexas Prompt A. We've got, it says, tell us your story. What unique opportunities or challenges have you experienced throughout your high school career that have shaped who you are today? So one thing that admissions counselors have told me is that when they're reading essays, they know that they're going to get a lot of COVID essays this year. So if I were you, I would kind of stray from that unless it's a small footnote in your essay. You just want to do anything and everything to make yourself stand out. Another essay they get all the time is like, I tore my ACL and I couldn't play football, and then I worked really hard and I can play football again. You know what I'm saying? So, which there's nothing wrong with those kinds of essays, but if you want to stand out, let's try and think of some other ways that we can tell your story. And then if you're going to apply out of state and you're using the Common App, they have 7 different prompts that you can choose from. Typically you can choose any prompt you want unless otherwise specified from the university. I'm going to give you guys a second to kind of read over these. If I were y'all, I would just do your research on what schools you're applying to, see if they are requiring a certain prompt. Usually they won't. If not, then just pick one of these prompts that best fits you, and then also write that first prompt for the ApplyTexas and have those 2 in your back pocket. And usually those will cover a lot of different essays. Like, you'd be surprised with scholarships and stuff like that. And that is basically all I've got for your essay writing. I hope the number one thing you take away from this is that I want you guys to really be yourself and let yourself shine in this essay. I know it's kind of weird to sometimes write about yourself, but the admission counselors want to get to know you and they want to know what makes you you, what makes you special. So this is a time to really show them that. If you write a little quirky, then that's totally fine, as long as we're, grammatically correct and using full sentences. Like, yeah, let's do it. We can be a little bit different. So if you guys have any questions at all, you are always more than welcome to ask me. I guess I will see you guys hopefully soon.